Live session of Central Telecoms bringing you the NBN Expert Chat. Joining me again is Andy Heller, one of the directors of Central Telecoms. Welcome back, mate.
Thank you.
How did he go last week standing in for you?
Oh, Graham. Yeah,
Graham's standing in for you last week. You were behind the camera as well, making sure everything went smoothly.
Yeah, he wasn't as good with the whiteboard as me.
Wasn't as good with the whiteboard. I don't even know if he used it, did he? I think he picked up the phone a couple of times and showed us some of the hardware that you guys are selling.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was cool. So that's what we talked about last week was the hardware, the VoIP systems that are available with Central Telecoms. I'm sure that you've got some inquiries. If you have, just get onto the Central Telecoms Facebook page, which is where we're live streaming at the moment. Watch the other videos back. This is number 4. Today we're talking about something quite topical, Andy, because it was in the paper that the ACCC are getting involved with the NBN rollout. Now, why exactly are the ACCC involved?
I think the main thing with the government body getting involved is, like we've touched on before, is around the sort of expectations and that customers are having around, or end users are having around what's going on the NBN. And so, you've kind of got this issue with big telcos obviously trying to maintain their large profit margins. And when they owned their own networks, they were able to be a little bit more
in control
of their pricing. Yeah, and now that the NBN's come out, you get a few different charges which ensure that basically are mandatory for each connection. So you get an AVC charge and a CVC charge. So the CVC charge is basically what ensures your speed and your bandwidth is high and your connection is stable. And per point of interconnect, you have to purchase enough CVC to manage your customer base, so that they have a high quality stream or a high quality service.
So explain what we're looking to on the screen here. This is how to explain CVC, but what are we looking at here?
Basically, that's just a drawing of a highway. So you've got.
Can I ask something before you explain this? Did you draw that on the whiteboard?
No.
Is this somebody else's drawing?
That was one of Joe's.
Oh, Joe drew this. Okay, so sorry. Carry on. Explain what we're looking at. There's two different scenarios. One looked like it was going about 60 kilometres an hour, and the other's 100 kilometres an hour. We might bring that up again if that's all right, Matt, just so that we can see this. There it is. There, the drawing.
I think we need to put him through an art.
We do have to put him through there.
That's terrible.
So one's tight, and the other one's there's a few more lanes.
It's talking about congestion. So the idea there is if we were to drive to Sydney on the Hume Highway with no traffic or minimal traffic, then you're going to get there very quickly. If you decide to go down the back roads on a dirt road and you've got everybody driving down that one strip and behind all the trucks and tractors, it's obviously going to take a lot of time.
Take longer, yeah.
So and to put that into perspective on an internet connection, if you've got 100,000 customers in a town, so
yes.
Say that could be Wagga Wagga or the Central Coast or Albury, Wodonga.
Sure.
If you've got that many customers, then you need to make sure that the amount of CVC you've purchased allows for an X amount of concurrent sessions or bandwidth allowance on your connection at any one time.
Okay.
So if all 100,000 people decide to use the internet at the same time and stream Making a Murderer on Netflix,
yes.
Then obviously 100,000 people want to be able to do that. So you need to ensure that you have enough CVC in that particular area to be able to provide that quality of service.
In other words, enough lanes for all the traffic to go down.
Yeah, and the issue here is, and I think this is where, where people's service quality, comes into discussion, or probably more so why the ACCC are getting involved, is the NBN dictate the price that you pay for CVC per megabyte, but also your AVC charge, which is more of a per service in operation fee. So the issue is that although those prices aren't necessarily outrageous, when you start looking at en masse, it becomes a very expensive product for the big telcos to be able to provide on their with their backhaul infrastructure, because it's a forced fee, even though they're actually using their own network once it comes out. So the difficulty here is, like one of the first slides alluded to around protecting profit margins, is if you purchase too much CVC in an area and you don't need that much to aggregate your customers' services, then essentially you're just sacrificing profit
Well,
margin.
that's right. There's a lower profit margin, isn't there? Because you've got less going out to users, which means you haven't got enough coming in. So the ACCC, now having a look at the whole rollout of NBN, in particular, I noticed that it was a lot to do with businesses as well, and expectations, I suppose, around what you do get through the NBN. After the ACCC investigation, what do you think the outcome is going to be for business customers out there?
Well, what I'm hoping, and what we're hoping as a business, is that the NBN itself is, because it's a wholesale body, they're a very difficult mob to deal with. And when you're trying to get answers or information, from an end user's perspective, you're asking your retail service provider, like ourselves, and then we're obviously going back to NBN to, if there's an issue with the copper line in your street or something like that, to be able to provide the quality of service that you're expecting. The difficulty is you don't necessarily get any information back from them, or the information is very stock standard replies. For a big telco, again, you're dealing with overseas call centres, overseas people that, they see that stock standard reply, go, yeah, no worries, and just pass it on to the end user. So you kind of go through this circle and cycle of people not really knowing what they're talking about, or not really pushing for the resolution that is required. So I'm kind of hoping that with this ACCC investigation, or them at least being involved, that the transparency between the network, like the network provider NBN, and the wholesale providers in the big telcos for that backhaul connection, that it starts to become a more transparent process. But also that they start working together to be able to provide the service and the quality of service that end users are looking for.
Well, we should point out again that this is going out live every Tuesday around 12 o'clock. Sometimes we're a little bit late. We were away last week because I should tell you, Andy, Matt and I ended up being in that feature film, The Merger, that's being shot here in Wagga. So we had 4 days that we weren't expecting that we were filming, and one of them was when we were meant to be doing this NBN expert chat. So roughly 12 o'clock on a Tuesday for 10 weeks in a row. If you want to get in contact with these guys at Central Telecom, like I said, the best way is still the Facebook Messenger, is that right? Or Facebook page, because you can call you from there. Yeah,
we we haven't got anything to hide. One of the main reasons we're doing this live on Facebook is we feel our customers are happy with us, and we don't get bad press. Well, hopefully speaking for the long haul.
Well, sometimes that's got to do with the size of you as well, because the bigger you are, and eventually you will guys are going to be quite big as well, no doubt. But the bigger you are, the harder they fall. The media seems to think.
I think the issue is the bigger you get, and this is a major bone of contention for us now that we're in Newcastle, Central Coast, Wagga, Albury, and growing into more regions. And you have to be able to provide the same quality of service in customer service in locations that, like for example, that I'm not physically in.
Yeah, that's right. Because at the end of the day, for the person who's purchasing it off you, they really don't care how big or small you are. What they care about is reliability and the fact that you can pick up the phone and say
quality of service. If you say you're going to do something, then you should do it.
Okay. What are the most common issues you've seen? Because we're going to be wrapping up in a moment. What are the most common issues that you've seen in the last couple of weeks since we've seen you that mainly businesses are experiencing that you guys have been able to fix?
Well, I actually spoke to a customer this morning who signed over to Telstra maybe a couple of months ago, and since then they've just had no end of troubles with their phones. Just dropping in and out all the time, having technicians coming in and resetting services or trying their best to get things working, but still not doing the job, still not providing the service that they're after. And we're in a position where we can fix that today if the customer is ready to move across, which I think they are.
Okay, well there you go. So there's a bit of a message out there that if you think you need to be with one of the big telcos, maybe you don't. Maybe you'll get a better result going with the guys at Central Telecoms. Like we said, they are not just here in Wagga, but you've got Newcastle, Central Coast area, Albury, Wodonga, and other regional parts, but can pretty much do anywhere in Australia, really, can't you? Service wherever.
We've got customers that are multi-site, like across all states, whether that be in South Australia or New South Wales, Victoria, moving into Queensland. Like the actual service is possible to be managed remotely, so and quite simply.
Yep.
So for those customers which have got multiple sites, we're a perfect partner, a perfect choice. and we're able to support wherever we need to.
Any questions at all, just put them in the comments underneath this video, whether you're watching it on the Facebook Live at Central Telecoms or wagga-wagga.tv, and these guys will get back with an answer. Now, I'll put you on the spot, a little bit of a cliffhanger for next week, mate. Yeah. Have you given any thought as to what we're going to discuss next week?
Yeah, I think we want to put some live examples in.
Great.
So we've got a few IT referral partners that recommend our services, and we've got obviously a few customers which have gone through fairly standard issues,
right,
and that a lot of people are having. So we just want to start putting that into some perspective and show people why these IT partners are working with us.
Yep.
But also why are our customers, how are we fixing these issues on a case-by-case scenario?
Absolutely, case studies are really big. Now we'll put the challenge out there to you as well. I want you to come up with the toughest question to do with the NBN that you can think of, and send it in on Facebook, and we'll get Andy to answer it live next week, 12 o'clock on a Tuesday. It is the weekly NBN Expert Chat with Central Telecoms. Thanks once again, Andy.
No worries.
Any last messages you want to put out there onto the online world?
No, just, even if you've signed up to something, even if you've made a choice and it's not working, don't be afraid to ask the question. We can fix things, we can help, and you don't need to suffer in silence. Just give us a shout, and we'll come and help you.
I love it. Don't suffer in silence. Give them a call, Central Telecoms. We're going to go now, and we'll see you next week, 12 o'clock Tuesday, with Andy Heller and the crew from Central Telecoms. Bye for now.